Phil playing Joshua, and this is they're just getting ready to get the call from the judges to go ahead and start their round. And so Phil is playing and Phil is on your right hand side. There's a nice handshake between the competitors. And one thing I'm going to note, everybody has a different play style here. So Joshua is a stand-up and play kind of guy. So he may be head off the camera sometimes, but he likes to have that overhead view of the map. Going through the teams here, Phil has Iron Paladin, who is assigned to the Ophidian entity. He's also playing Engineer, who is assigned the Ion entity, and Blind Owl. Phil is also playing the Orange Power Battery with the Orange Lantern Ring, and has the Decoy, the Catapult, the Bulldozer, and the Scissors, all the orange constructs. And you can see those in the top right-hand side of your screen. And we're scrolling through the cards on your bottom right of your screen. So as the opponents are getting ready to get started here, they're just going to take a look at each other's cards, confirm they're familiar with what the opponent's playing. Ask any questions they might have. All right, so taking a look at Joshua's team, which we're cycling through here. This is he's got Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner has the Bulldozer construct signed to him. He's also playing Abin Sur, which has the Bulldozer assigned to him as well, although he's you can see those he's actually got them attached to the base of the sculpt themselves. He also has Composite Superman. Composite Superman has Ion entity assigned to him, and he is playing the Green Power Battery with the Bulldozer construct, and the Decoy, the Spotlight, and the Green Lantern Ring. This seems to be very interesting action tokens for Joshua. He seems to be using Starburst Candy. See, I would never be able to play a match against him because I'd probably be eating his action tokens. It does say in the rule, action tokens can be any small object, so I suppose Starburst Candy fits that bill. So Composite Superman has, if we can take a look at the builds again there for Joshua. Composite Superman has an ability that allows him, it's called All the Powers of the Legion. And Joshua has on his sideline for Composite Superman pretty much a full slate here, filling up his sideline to give him options for Composite Superman. He's got Saturn Girl, Lightning Lad, Phantom Girl, Timberwolf, Ultra Boy, Wildfire, White Witch, Mon-El, and Cosmic Boy. So a lot of figures. He has maxed out his sideline using all of these characters to be able to give him as many options as possible, because Composite Superman is able to roll a d6, which he just does right there, and he's going to click each of those to click number 2, and then he will be able to have access to the powers that are showing on those dials. So a lot of options there with that character. So he's pulling out the character cards for reference for those. And letting Phil take a look at them so he can familiarize himself with what options Composite Superman will be able to have. One thing to note, Joshua does have the different bulldozer constructs, as I said, but he's utilizing different color bulldozer constructs. That may or may not come across on the camera, but he has the blue bulldozer construct on Guy Gardner and the indigo one on Abin Sur. And then he has assigned to the power battery the green one. So this is certainly an interesting map that they're playing on. There's blocking terrain on the on either side, which is actually on the top and bottom of your screen, and then different areas of hindering terrain running right down the center. There's also big blocks of blocking terrain at the far ends, those 2x2 squares. So a lot of places to tuck behind and hide, but some open area and some opportunities for long-range attacks in that center corridor. So right now, as they're trying to position, Joshua is putting up some barrier there, and represented by those green stop signs. And Phil did move out engineer, but they're hanging back for right now, trying to get their constructs assigned, trying to get the powers that he's looking for Composite Superman. And what you see there is a player who is making sure that he's counting out what the threat area is of the other player, where they might be able to make an attack. Typical that players place the die in a square to mark where they're either know where the opponent might be able to shoot to with their range, or maybe indicating where they're thinking about moving. So and then he took that back off the map, but he just wants to have a mental note in his head of what's the danger zone, where can he position himself so that he can't get shot at or otherwise attacked. Rolling and clicking down that power battery. The power batteries are interesting resources in that they, as you click them down, they give you access to different and sequentially better powers. However, since they do live on the map, opponents can go up and make attack rolls, essentially the equivalent of attack rolls against them, and potentially knock them out. So it's a little bit of a balancing act that you want to get down into the higher clicks, but at the same time, it's if your opponent is able to come in there and cause damage to it, then it is. Oh, yeah, there was an attack from Joshua that was a critical miss, but he very fortunately has the ability to force a reroll on that and got out of that. So. Phil's taking a look at his entities, deciding what he wants to be able to utilize off their dials. See if he might be able to get an attack in on Composite Superman, who was able to come out and destroy that blocking terrain that was hiding Engineer. So Engineer has the ability to choose powers, so Phil has his own options there with that character, and what he was able to position Iron Paladin to make an attack against Composite Superman. And with the modifiers and that he had from his entities and Blind Owl as well, he was able to not only get in there and make that attack, but actually take out Composite Superman. So Composite Superman was being played at 100 points. So even though Joshua was able to get in the first attack, Phil was able to retaliate, make up for it, and take out that Alpha Strike character. But Josh still has Guy Gardner and Abin Sur. And of course, Iron Paladin is now pretty close to Joshua's starting area, so Phil's going to hope that he can surprise some attacks, and Joshua's roll of a 4 is not going to do it. But with the reroll, he does get an 8, and that'll mean that Iron Paladin's going to take some damage there. He does have an action token on him and is still out there in dangerous waters. Alright, making use of the power battery. There he goes clicking down that dial. Looking to see if he can make use of those construct abilities. Folks, you might have heard last action called, but when we're setting up for this streaming video, setting up the feature match does take a few minutes, so we keep track of the time that it takes to set up. The rest of the group gets started, and then we have this feature table. It takes a few minutes to get set up, so they have time extension beyond the last action of the rest of the group, but it is the same amount of time. That's for everybody, for all games. So, quick little conference with the judge, and Joshua decides to bring his Guy Gardner right up adjacent to Iron Paladin. Alright, taking a look at the powers and ability card and just confirming the interaction here. That is a prepared player who has his power and ability card in his inside vest pocket. And if we can take a look at the team for Joshua. So what Joshua is looking to utilize here is the Get In Your Face power on Guy Gardner, which allows him to use charge, but he can also just have a move action, and if he ends adjacent to an opposing character, that move is free. So it's allowing him to make that attack. He pushes to do that. Although in this particular case, he was close enough just to use the normal charge. So Phil trying to heal his engineer. Engineer was the victim of the alpha strike of the game, so he's going to try to circle her back to the power battery to get healed. Unfortunately, doesn't make the roll. Joshua going deep into the dial of the green power battery, try to get those special powers that'll let him unlock better constructs or even be able to assign additional constructs. And as much as I said better constructs, I just mean higher point constructs. Certainly the lower point constructs are very effective for their point cost. Effectiveness not necessarily tied to higher point values, but just how effective they are for the point value that they're at. So Joshua's going to clear Guy Gardner. It's got to pass it back to Phil. Phil has a choice here if he wants to try to stay and fight, or if he's going to try to get back with the rest of his team. Yeah, it's looking like he's made the decision to stay and fight. Rolls the 5, but going to force a reroll there on that. Oh, excuse me. You may have seen Joshua pointing at the green power battery, which does limit free action. So. A little shuffling about of cards there, because I think one thing I hadn't mentioned is Phil does have on his sideline Iron Pharaoh, and Iron Paladin does have the ability to bring in Iron Pharaoh, and I think he just had the Iron Pharaoh card under his entity there instead of the Iron Paladin card, so it might have caused a little confusion for Joshua. another big roll for on the power battery there, and he is going very deep into that dial. That's where Joshua will end his turn, clearing Abensur. Goes over to Phil, who does have an action token on his Iron Paladin, so he's got to decide here if he wants to push. He starts off again trying to heal up Engineer, and that should put her back up to the top click with the 3 healing. He had already healed earlier in the game. Just double checking the line of fire. He wants to see where he can position Engineer for most to his advantage. Oh, actually, excuse me, I think he was looking to see if he actually had a line of fire from the power battery to Iron Paladin, but it looks like that did clip that one piece of blocking terrain that's still there, in that block of 2 that wasn't destroyed. And since that was in the way, Phil decides to get rid of it by taking a shot with Engineer, so he clears that line of fire entirely. Might not be able to do what he needs to do this turn, but he's setting it up for next turn. Oh, he's doing it right now. Rolls for the breakaway, gets 6, and is going to pull back with Iron Paladin. Making a running shot against Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner is not able to evade that successfully. And takes a few clicks of damage. So Phil feeling pretty confident with his KO of Composite Superman. After taking a few licks from Guy Gardner, has decided that it's probably in his best interest to pulled back to his starting area, which is going to force Joshua to make a run over across the map to get back at him. He does have a pretty big threat range with Guy Gardner, but it's likely to take a few turns to get over there. Instead, he pulls his Starburst token. Since this match is extended just a bit, the other players are now forming around to take a look, and you may see right in the background of Josh's camera Patrick, who is our current world champion, checking out the field. And Phil decides to pull back even a little bit more, just to have a little more measure of safety, and moves Blind Al into what he figures is going to be the line of fire. Blind Al, being only 13 points, is certainly a decent sacrificial lamb if she needs to take the hit instead of his main attacker. Continuing to go for the heel. I guess Engineer wasn't all the way up on her dial. I think what Joshua's probably thinking right now is that with Kaze Superman at 100 points being gone, that he really needs to take out Iron Paladin with the short amount of time remaining in this match, and tries to position, but that is the last action, so he's not going to have the opportunity to do that. And you saw the players shake hand and say good game, and now there's the post-game debrief, pretty typical in any match, kind of talking about the woulda, coulda, shouldas, or what might have happened. But this is the last round here again of the 2015 World Championship qualifiers.